Hello everyone, this is Kirk Nelson with Brilliant Twisted Skulls. Today I'm going to show you how I modeled this Mobius weave. Give you an idea of how Mobiuses are put together. We'll talk about AR, we'll talk about how to model the rings, and then how to put this together so you can model it yourself. Alright, let's get started here. I'm going to pull over to this spot and we'll get set up. Okay, first thing we want to do is come over to our tools. I want to grab the circle tool. I grabbed it from this location here. I'm using the free version of Sketchup so you can follow along. So if you don't, you'll have to set up an account, but you don't have to pay for this version. And you can do a lot of cool things in this version. So give you an opportunity to play around. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I want a roughly an AR of about 8. So to get that, we need an 8-inch diameter ring, and I'm going to use 1-inch wire thickness, and so that's how you get that AR aspect ratio. You need to make sure that the only way to determine the AR is take the inside diameter of the ring, which is what we're building right now. I'm going to put 4-inch radius, and that gives me an 8-inch diameter. And then you take that diameter and divide it by the thickness of the wire. The wire is going to be 1 inch, so that's an AR of 8. If the inside diameter was 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, or 4 inches, divide that by the 1-inch wire thickness, and it would be 3.5 or it'd be 4. So this way you figure any AR. And so the next thing I need to do is I need to get a line that is perpendicular off any one of these lines. And to do that is really simple. You can just come over here, just grab any line, pull it over to the center line here, and you can see now that this creates this reference line which is perpendicular to this face, or this line of this circle. And then what I need is the thickness of the wire. So I need half the distance, because this is going to be the inside point, the radius point of this wire thickness. So I'm going to go 0.5, that's half an inch. So that will be the inside of the circle, the very midpoint. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my measure tool, and I'm going to pull off the blue axis. Oops. I want to make sure that it's pulling a reference line, and I'm going to land that right in the middle of this intersection between those two previous reference lines that I created, this perpendicular line and this distance line, this half-inch off the face there. Then what I want to do is come back over here to my tool chest, and I want to go ahead and pull the rotated rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and land that in the center of this intersection where this perpendicular line comes bisects or intersects this this line of this circle. Bring it over to this intersection and just come up along this this line that's running up and down, which is the blue axis. It doesn't have to go all the way up, doesn't have to be any specific length. We just need to get this face, this plane here, because that's what we're going to build a circle perpendicular to this circle to make sure that it models correctly. So come back over here, we'll grab our circle tool. We want to hit this point. You can see that there isn't that it's landing flat on this plane, and that it doesn't have any blue, red, or green reference because we're not on any one of those axes. So we need to make sure that we're landing flat on this, and then we want to pull this all the way over to this intersection. And so what that does is now create this 1-inch diameter circle, which becomes the wire around this inside diameter and that gives us that AR. So 1 inch circle, or 1 inch thickness of wire with an 8 inch inside diameter ring gives us an AR of 8. It's going to be a little bit less than that because the length of this circle, or the length of this diameter, is actually from point to point, not from the flat center point. So it's actually just a little bit under 8, but for all intents and purposes, that's going to suffice. Okay, so we can also erase this field here because we don't need that. We want to come over here to our select tool. We want to select this ring. We want to make sure that this ring is all blue. The whole thing is blue. If it's not, then you need to select all of those and weld them together. And to do that, you would just right click on the ring, or anywhere in this. You would triple click on the line. That would select everything. You make sure that all of that's selected and nothing else, like this circle over here. You'd right click, and then you would come down and let me see, actually, yeah, you can be able to do that. But anyway, it's important that that whole ring is blue. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our follow me tool. So here is the push pull. Click on that. You can see the offset tool, push pull tool, and then here in the middle is the follow me tool, which is red dot with a curved line and then a curved tube coming from that. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on the face of this and pull that around until it connects, and then we're going to click again, and that makes that tori. And then we don't need this reference line anymore. This is what we used. That's the ring of that inside diameter that we pulled our wire around, or our circle around, to create the tube. That makes up the wire, or the ring. So what we'll do is we'll right click on that ring or line, and we'll hit soften. And that just, all that does is just make that so you can't see it. Now what we want to do is go up to our select tool. We're going to select this whole thing, and as you can see, I'm going to show you here, this didn't actually select everything. This only selected the field. What we want is to triple click on this, and we want to make sure we get every single line. And so what we can do now is turn this into a component. So we right click on this figure that has everything selected. We want to make a component, and I'm going to call this ring with AR of 8. And I've already made one of these, so I'm going to go ahead and just replace that one. It doesn't matter. So now that we have one of those, what we need to do is, and this is really important that we maintain these reference lines. So this axis here, this axis point, and this origin point for this needs to stay the same location, but we're going to move this guy in whatever direction, but you want to make sure that you stay on either the red or the green. And so you'll see that there's the reference line, as we move this, either goes red or blue or green. And we just want to move, if we're moving it in the green direction, we want to move it. We want to make sure that that green is on, and it will say on green axis. And you want to just make sure that that is right. And we're just going to go ahead and click 1. That'll be 1 inch. So basically we've just moved this 1 inch out of center from this original or origin point. And then what we want to do is we want to tip this thing. So we're going to come over here to this red line, or to this red plus, which is our rotate tool. And what this does, though, is when you click on these in this way, it rotates it from center. And so you'll see that we're rotating this around on that green axis. So it's staying in that axis. What I want to do is I want to get to 16 degrees because I just found that that actually works out really well. It could be 14, it could be 15, depending on how you model it. But it makes a pretty nice Mobius. So I'm going to go ahead and hit -16 because what we're doing is rotating that down from level. So we're actually going -160. If you go up, it'd be positive 16. Okay, now that we have that, what we need to do is we need to come back here and we need to create another circle. And this is, again, we want to be on this plane, the original plane that we were on before we rotated this this ring. That's going to be very important because what we're going to do is we're going to select the ring, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to select the rotate tool, and we want to make sure we get in the very center of that origin point, and we're going to click that, and then we're going to come out to this point and we're going to click that, and then we're going to start turning this, and you can see that we're actually moving the original ring. But what we want to do is make a copy of that. So I'm going to hit Control, and what that does is make a copy, moves the original back into its normal location, and then I want to move this. I want to make 6 of these, so I need to make 5 copies. I've got 1. I've just made another copy, and I want to make a total of 5 copies. And so I'm going to rotate this. There's 24 sides. I'm going to make 6 rings total. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. So I need to move this 4 points. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to hit Shift 8, which is star, which is times. And then I'm going to times that by 5, and that means 5 copies. So I'm making the 1 copy plus 4, and then I'm going to hit Enter. So what that does is now makes 5 copies of that original. Now we have a total of 6 rings. Now that I've done that, I can actually remove this inside ring here because that's not necessary. And then we could go ahead and color this just for fun. So the other one I went ahead and did just rainbow colors because it was kind of fun. So let's just do that. So I'm going to go start with this one, then we'll click this one, and then we'll do this one, and then this one, and then this one, and last but not least, this one. So there you go. There is a 6-ring Mobius with an AR, with rings with an AR of 8. So you could probably make that tighter and get, maybe 8 rings in there, or even possibly 10, and really make that tight. And you can see here, if I were to have reduced the angle by which I rotated those rings, it would have made that actually sit a little bit tighter as well. And then you could also adjust the rings out more so you could get a different look. But anyway, this is how to model a Mobius with an AR of 8. 6-ring Mobius, AR of 8 in SketchUp. I hope you guys had fun. Thanks for watching. As always, stay brilliant and keep weaving.